We just rolled here. It is July 5th, going into the 6th, 2020. And come at you with this video. Hope you guys had a great holiday. Anybody around the world celebrating anything, those of us here in the United States celebrating the birth of our nation. And I know that that's kind of a sticky subject right now because of everything that's going on. But listen, guys, we're still here, right? So anyway, we're just going to jump into it. Got a solar storm, guys, launched off the sun. We're going to take a look at that. Some more Comet Neowise stuff and some solar wind stuff that was hitting us. It's giving us a pretty good knocking in the chin. Not really storm level, but definitely know something from a corona hole is coming at us. So we'll talk about that a little bit too. Obviously, we're going to start here with the comments. And we'll take a look at the Schumann too. There's some Schumann's pretty active, guys. And again, I don't think it's ever going to stop. But anyway, this is from Kavanaugh Light, and this is a perfect example of how, everybody comes together in the comment section and starts talking. You're respectful, all that kind of thing. We don't always have to agree. We can disagree, guys. It's not a big deal. And this is case in point right here. I'm not saying I disagree with Kavanaugh with what's being said here. I'm just saying we view this just a little bit different. And so that's why I'm showing you the comment. And by the way, this is a very, very long comment. I'm not going to read the whole thing. If you guys go over to the comment section of the last video, it's there. So if you want to go check it out. Anyway, normally I agree with you. However, I do believe we will have all the truth available to each one of us, rather than each one of us having a small piece, requiring unity to understand. Hive mind, and they go on to talk about it a little bit more. And obviously, I'd said, and this is how I think too, I think all of us have a little bit of the truth, and if we could all come together, we might be able to figure it out. That's the way I view things. Kavanaugh here views it just a little bit different, and, and that's okay. That is what it is. Who's to say which one is right and which one is wrong? We don't know. We just can't know that until the time comes that we do know. We won't know until we do know. I know that sounds ridiculous, but that is exactly what I'm saying. So, but yeah, so I appreciate that, Kavanaugh. So guys, if you guys got difference of opinions and stuff, drop it in the comment section. It does not bother me, okay? Especially when it's respectful like this. If you want to get me to listen and talk to you about a certain subject or whatever, this is how to do it. You don't come at me and call me stupid and all that kind of thing, and I'll just ignore you and keep moving. So, but this one's from Julie Day. It says, this is a good one too. It says, so a visible comet and yellow ochre full moon plus fireworks for 4th of July. Cool. Love from England. Okay, she's over in England. And basically she's pointing out a whole bunch of stuff that's happening all at once. I mean, and she's dead on. And this is stuff that we're talking about, here on the channel. And we could add Schumann stuff to that. We could add solar storm here, this, that. We can add all this together all at one time. And I think that is what we're heading towards. We're heading towards we're already there, to be honest. It's more active. More things are happening from all sides. Case in point, geopolitical stuff. I mean, that all ties into all this too, guys. Okay? Everything's tied together. And, as soon as people start accepting that, which most people here do, but some people still try to ignore it. Well, you're not going to be able to ignore it much longer. Because things are coming to a head. It's going to happen. So, I appreciate this comment. It's a very upbeat, and what I'm trying to say, guys, is there's a lot of stuff happening, and Julie here is saying the same thing. But it is a cool time to be alive. It really is. How many times can we say, hey, I'm going to go out tomorrow morning and check out that comet in the sky? You can't say that very often. Okay? This one's from Archives the Truth. Love and hugs to you and Scott. I had more energy today than normal and can't sleep for shit. Love y'all. Okay. These are awesome comments too. We appreciate these kind because, we are human. Okay. Those of us do channels, and we can get our feelings hurt and we can get our feelings uplifted. And this is one of those things that keeps us motivated. So I appreciate that, art guys. I really do. And Scott does too. I know he does. I spoke to him too, guys, by the way, 2 days ago, or was it yesterday? He's doing just fine. I think he's planning on making a video here shortly, just to let everybody know what's going on and all that. But just know he's fine, guys. Okay, guys, we got you over here to Schumann, and obviously, I mean, this is the one from the 3rd, okay, July 3rd, and you can see where, you know, we were talking about the time frame of things that were happening, and this hold on one second, sorry about that, guys, but we were talking about how stuff was starting at this time frame, right? Well, this one kind of skipped ahead a little bit. All right, now, did the pattern continue? I don't know. I'm looking and I'm not really seeing it anymore. But these spikes are very, very significant. Okay, so if we go to the 4th, this is what we've seen on the 4th. Now, keep in mind that this spike here is the same as this one. Okay, time just moved forward. That's all. Okay. But what I'm noticing is, guys, look, just step back and look at the whole picture there. Isn't there a lot of green on there? And green means it's a more intense signature at that frequency level, okay? And it goes up to white. So there's very little blue on this, which is telling me that everything from 0 hertz up to where this graph goes to 40, it seems as though most of it, you know, the ambient stuff kind of stops right around 36 here, or is that 34? I can't really see it. It might be 32. I think it's 32. But everything kind of seems like it tops out there. But everything below 32 hertz seems like it's pretty active. Okay, the signatures are really intense in those lower frequencies. Okay, not extreme intense, but more intense than what we typically see. There's just a whole lot of green here. And something else that I noticed, if you look here, I mean, you can clearly see the pulsing. And there's no doubt in that right there. I mean, that right there is just, yeah, in your face type of thing. So this one here is today. This is, I just took this screenshot. And again, you can see a whole lot of green. And the spiking still continuing. Seems as though right around the same time every day, guys, look, it's going back to this. So, you know, I don't know what's going on here. I really don't. Could it have some, again, if it's going to be a natural thing, it has to be something that is positional as far as our rotation. Okay? Depending on what part we're rotated in the sky or in space, I think that this is having an effect. Unless, again, like I said a bunch of times, this is from an unnatural thing. It's intelligently done. Now, they might not be doing it to change the frequency. They might be doing something else that's actually changing the frequency, you know, just because it does. It's a side effect. Okay? So we'll keep an eye on this. Again, is there anything we can do about that? No, we can't. But we have to be aware that this is happening, because it will help you cope with certain things like your ringing in your ears, and, you know, because if you don't know why you're having that stuff going on, it bothers you more. And so if we know that the source of what's causing our issues, at least we can go say, hey, well, this is what's causing it. I don't have to really worry about that other stuff that it was going through my mind. Why am I having this, or why am I having that? So that's why this is even important to look at, just for that reason alone. So, but yeah, I mean, these spikes here, guys, those are intense. Okay, I'm not sure. I didn't go look and see how high that actually went. It looks as though it started maybe tapering off here, maybe, but it's above 40 hertz, guys. So that's, you know, there's a reason why they stopped the main graph here at 40, because they didn't really, I don't think they really expected to see too much above. And now, man, it's crazy. But again, we have to consider this right here one spike. Because you can see where it kind of did get more intense with the white, and then it went back down to the orange and red, orange and greens. Okay, so that is a... Okay, guys, I got you over here at spaceweather.com. Again, they're talking about Comet Neowise. Here's another capture from that right here. And, you know, guys, this is pretty awesome. What I'm going to do is I got a a day-by-day graph, a star chart to show you where to look if you want to see it. I'm going to run through that with you guys here in just a second. But this right here is cool. These guys are doing an awesome job, these photographers. I mean, they're catching all kinds of good stuff. So please go over here to spaceweather.com, check out this, and check out the photographers. Check out their work. I mean, it's just awesome stuff, guys. I mean, it really is. You know, like I said before, how often do you get to say, yeah, I just took a picture of a comet? You know, it's kind of crazy. All right, guys, this is a star chart, and what you're seeing here, the darkness here is actually the horizon, okay? So anything above that, obviously, you know what I'm saying there. So if you're looking out on the 7th, what you want to do is you want to go out looking east just before sunrise, and you will find the comet right there. Okay? So if you just keep in mind, it will be just slightly more east than northeast, okay? Because this is east, that's northeast, east-northeast. So it's really close to east, but I mean, it's really in that little area. So if you're just looking at general area of the sky, you're going to see it, okay? If you guys know anything about stars, if people stargaze, if you just know where these stars are, you can just go right below it and check it out. Now, again, this has to be done at that certain time or you're not going to be able to see it. It's just before sunrise. Once the sun comes up, it's probably going to glare it out pretty good, okay? It's probably going to be hard to see. Not to say that it ain't there, because it stays there, but... And then this is on the 8th. You can see the progression here that it takes. It's going to slowly, you know, rotate that direction more east-northeast. See what it's doing here? How it's getting closer. Basically, it's moving north to our eyes. We would assume that it's moving north, is what we would think. But as you can see, that's on the 11th. Okay, here's on the 12th. You see how it's already past east-northeast now. So it moves slightly just every day. So, you know, and again, we'll update these charts as they go on. I'm sure it's not going to, obviously it's not going to go away the very next day after that. But eventually it'll go out of view. And I would say that the further it gets away from being in direct sunlight, the better off we are. We're going to be able to see it. But something else that you'll have to notice is it is dropping closer to the horizon. So you have to keep in mind your landscape around you. If you got tall trees and stuff like that, it may look as though you're looking at the bottom of the horizon, but you might be being blocked by a tree line or something like that and not realizing it. So just make sure you're looking, you know, up a little bit, I guess. So yeah, guys, take this chance to do, you know, take your kids, if you got kids, take your kids out, let them see this. Wake them up if you have to. And, you know, sometimes, man, I mean, these are the kind of things that we do, and you'll never forget them. And I think that's a lot of what's important in our lives, just to create those memories. So this is one of those positive things that's happening around us right now. So let's grab that positive and let our kids see that positive note there instead of looking around and seeing all the negative. Because believe it or not, guys, our kids are seeing all this negativity too. They're feeling it just like we are. They might even be more scared than us because they just don't know. So let's grab something positive here and go with it. Okay, guys, I got you over at Noaa Space Weather Prediction Center. This is where we look at our space weather conditions. And first thing you're probably going to notice is that's an increase in solar wind, right? That's typically higher than what we see when we come here. Usually that's right around 300. So what's happening is we're getting increased solar wind from a coronal hole. And I've been talking about that, and that's why I started talking about the coronal holes again, because it's affecting us right now. Now also, at the same time, you remember what this is for, don't you guys? This is the X-ray flux. Now, this will rise when we have sunspots that are facing us, or even just active areas that aren't necessarily sunspots. And that's what we're seeing right now. We actually have a sunspot. And believe it or not, it's from the old solar cycle. But it was more of a, usually they're like horizontal when you look at them as far as their polarity. The positive and the negative parts of the sunspot would be more horizontal, but this one here is almost more vertical. So what that's telling us is that it's being affected by the new solar cycle. Things are moving more and more towards the solar cycle 25. What does that mean to us? I know you guys are probably asking. That was probably a bunch of word salad to a lot of you. What that means to us is that we just got this stuff going on, and we're definitely moving into the new solar cycle. So yeah, guys, we got this going on here with this, and you're seeing how it's rising, right? So we got to keep that in mind. And plus, our geomagnetic activity has risen. We're not in storm level, but we had a solar storm that was launched off, but it's not coming right at us. But I'm going to show you how something that isn't coming right at us can affect us too. Okay, not for any other. It's just going to tell us that the stuff is still happening. So, and we are getting an uptick, and we're going into the new solar cycle, like I just said. Okay, but here's what the sun looks like right now. I'll take you guys over and show you on SDO here in a minute. But you can see how you got the brighter areas there that are most definitely active areas, and one of them is a sunspot. It got designated today. So here's the ACE data. You're seeing that this is, still pretty variable. Now, something of note. Look at the range. It's 400 to 600. Typically that range is like 3 to 5. So what that's saying is that they were expecting to see higher wind speed. For what reason? That coronal hole stuff I was just talking about. That's why our solar wind speed was up. So, and this ACE data is confirming that. It actually was popping up there. And if you go over and you look at the ISWA models, you can actually see the wind speed get to like, it shows like 1,000 kilometers per second, which is pretty fast, guys. And, you can get a converter and see what that converts to miles per hour, but that's over 2 million miles per hour, about 2.5. So just know that. Just know that is most definitely something that's pretty fast. Okay, guys, this is the CME tracker. Okay, now remember that this thing doesn't update unless it sees something, and it did. I'm sure you guys are probably seeing it already. So whenever we see these solar storms get launched off, CMEs, solar flares, a filament that gets released off, which is what happened here, we always got to try to figure out if it's coming at us. That's usually first thing that we think. Okay, so what you're looking at, this is the top-down view of our solar system, our inner solar system. And what I want to explain on this right now is you see these dashed lines? That's the interplanetary magnetic field lines. Okay, it's our connection to the sun. So, and you can see how the sun's connected to everything there, because it does. Even the satellites. The square boxes are satellites. All right, the orange ball there is Mercury. The green ball is Venus, and then the yellow ball is Earth, and obviously the thing in the middle is the sun. But as you can see, when this thing gets ejected off, watch how it perturbs these interplanetary magnetic field lines. You see that? And as it keeps going out, look what happens to the rest of them. You can see how it pushes against them because they all move. All right? If you can watch this wave, as it spreads on out, you're going to see all of them move. Even ours. Okay? So, it pushed it. You see how it pushed a little bit? Now, is it going to give us a big jolt? No. But it did affect us. Okay? So that means that even though that went off to the side, it ain't coming right at us. It will affect us somewhat. Now, we may not even see it very much on the tools. It ain't going to be a big deal because it's not. I'm not trying to say that. What I'm trying to say is that, this is stuff that we should still talk about. And that, I'm not going to ignore this stuff just because of it not being some big catastrophic event. This is stuff that shows us precursors to those events. And that's why we talk about it. So, and if you go over here to this one, this is the one where they take Earth's orbit and they stretch it out in a straight line. You can see that right there. Now that again, and my issue here, guys, is this it came from that active area. So once that rotates into Earth, like into Earth's view right in front of us, it has potential to do the same thing. Very much so, honestly. Okay, to the point where I'm like saying, hey, we probably ought to be, I guess, under some sort of a solar storm watch. I don't know if that's even a thing. I don't think that it is. But I do think we're at a higher risk level for a solar storm right now as this thing comes in front of us, which is always the case with sunspots, but this one in particular, because it's already showing to be active. Okay? Once they start doing that, we really got to pay attention, because they can just fire off anytime they want. I mean, the sun can fire off anytime it wants anyway. You don't have to have a sunspot. But this is what we're seeing right now. Okay, guys, now you remember me showing you guys the 304. This is where we look for the filaments and stuff usually on this angstrom. I explained what that was in my previous video, why we look at stuff and why it looks the way that it does. So hopefully you guys understood what I said the last time on that. But this has been a very active area right here anyway. This stuff it became unstable very, very quick. See these filaments right here? And that's not Earth facing. So watch what it does. This is that solar storm. Okay, you seeing what it's doing here? Watch it just, yeah, I'll just let you see it. Okay, now you see how it looked like it rotated up. Now what I want to point out here is the distance of what that thing just traveled. You guys got to understand how big the sun is. These things are way bigger than the size of our planet. Okay? So you can, when these things are moving, these things are not small. That filament was not small. And again, this is why I'm saying we should be paying attention here, because everything is rotating this way. So that area that fired that off is going to be coming in front of us. It's going to be a few days if it holds on. It may decay. You don't know. I mean, we just simply don't know. But there is a greater risk. Once these things start having activity like that, we tend to see more out of them, is what I'm trying to say. Unless it just, exacerbates all of its energy or whatever, and it just decides to, go back below the surface. But we've been watching that filament for a few days now. It became more and more unstable, and finally it just, boom, busted off. So what we're seeing here, that is that sunspot. Now I know it doesn't look is that, no, or is it this one up here? I think it might be this one. Let's go check it out here in just a second. All right, guys. Believe it or not, guess what? This is not the sunspot, or this one is not the sunspot. It's up here. That's the one that got designated because it had the right kind of characteristics. Now, watching this thing as it goes ahead and rotates on through here, it looks like it might have flared there at the end a little bit, and it looks like it might have petered out. We'll have to watch it, but it does not look very impressive at all right now. Just saying. It did get a number, 2766, has been designated as a sunspot. But the polarity is saying that it's from the old solar cycle, 24. Okay? And again, you can see the vertical thing I was talking about. Okay? Even on this one. Without going and actually looking at the polarity graph, you can see this thing is more vertical than, say, this one. You see this one? Okay, and that's just an active area. That's not even, you can see how it's more horizontal looking. The loops are more horizontal. So, you can tell that just by looking at it. But then you can tell how this one is more vertical. It's not quite completely vertical. It's kind of slanted like that. But it is more vertical. So that's telling everybody that, hey, this is, it's being affected by that change in polarity. So, yeah. So here, the solar storm over here, that filament that released, is over here on this one. We'll take a look at it here. It's actually a pretty impressive filament that released off there. Okay, you see how it did that? Now, again, as that area starts rotating through to us, we're gonna have to watch it. That's all we can do. I know the chances of us catching a solar storm from this thing are risen. It is increased. Okay, The research and stuff I've been doing on it, they're saying that, yeah, it's increased. Like, I think what they say, it was like 25% or 15% chance of a high latitude solar storm versus a mid latitude. So, and what that means is a high latitude solar storm would be up towards our poles. A mid latitude would be more hitting us more in the middle. So, towards the equator, that kind of thing. And the reason why that happens is because of the way our magnetosphere works. Okay, when it hits us, stuff comes in easier on the poles. That's why that happens. That's why that increase in the chances of a solar storm are greater when you get towards the poles. Because when you're towards the equator, our magnetic field thins it off better. Okay, we don't take the direct hit as easy. So yeah. Okay, guys, I got you over at seeds. Now, notice that there's still no data on LASCO C2 for the past 6 days. Okay, this seems to be becoming more and more prevalent. For whatever reason, they might have had something going with the tool. My guess is because of the holiday and stuff and everything else around it, they probably just didn't take the time to reset or do whatever they needed. We can go look at the LASCO C2. We just won't get here, we'll look at the last capture we got. I can take you over to ISWA and show you this stuff over here, but we won't get this. Okay, I don't think I'm going to do that. But if you guys ever wanted to do that, that's typically what you can do. You can go to the other sites, and the data's still there most of the time. It's just not there. Okay, you won't be able to see that particular graphic there on the left. So yeah. So what we're going to do is we'll go down here and we'll check it out on stereo A. And you can see it, okay? It's pretty prevalent. It's not huge, but the reason why you're not seeing it that big is because this solar storm is actually fired right at this satellite, okay? So all the energy that typically we would see if it was off to the side is behind this black occulter. It's coming right at this satellite, guys, okay? I showed you guys that over on the CME tracker. I mean, this thing couldn't have hit this satellite any more center. It hasn't hit it yet, but it will here in the next couple of days. But you can still see it flaring out there like that. Watch. Boom. Okay. And again, it's not coming right at us. I don't even think we're going to catch a glancing blow from it, but it will still, you can still see how it affected our, that whole side of our solar system was affected by that just from the interplanetary magnetic field lines, our connection to the sun. Got kind of bumped around a little bit. Now, is it going to do anything to us and the other planets? No. But it does show that stuff is happening. Okay, guys, this is one of the magnetosphere tools. On this one, the sun's over here on the left. Okay? And what you're going to see, you're just going to see solar wind increase. You're going to see little waves of it come in. You see how they're right in the middle? How that's happening right behind us? It was probably reacting to something that hit us in the front, like that wave right there. Okay? Now, if you'd have looked at this, 12 hours ago, it was a little bit more intense. Okay? Because the main part of that coronal hole stream hit us back then. Okay? But you can look at it on the density chart here. It's doing the same thing. These things pretty much mimic themselves. And on this one, the white is actually low density, so the darker colors are the higher dense particles. So you can see how we're fending it off. I mean, there's nothing big going on here. It's just, I just wanted to show it to you so you guys could see that. Now here's the pressure, okay? Yeah, you can see how that built around our planet when these solar storms happen. Okay? But you can also see how our magnetosphere and our shields work. Because this is proof of it. This is showing you how nothing's getting to the surface, really. Okay? Something else I did notice, you see the incline there on that? You can watch the tail of our magnetosphere here get kind of pulled down. And that happens quite a bit when we get hit with these solar storms. Because, sometimes they're not coming directly in a straight line. They could be coming at an angle. Alright? That's just how they hit us. Now you can see how, even right there, it's showing it. Everything's just kind of getting pulled down that way. You can see how the pressure isn't as great down here as it is up here. And so, you know, I could take you over to the other magnetosphere model. We could dive into that, but this one is serving the purpose right here because there's really nothing real intense. We're not in storm level or anything like that. So, but we are still experiencing a solar storm, though it be a weak one. It's still happening, and it's from a coronal hole. I showed you guys that coronal hole yesterday, or 2 days ago. So, this is the black areas on the sun there I've shown you. When those come right in front of the Earth, all those charged particles start flying at us, okay? And remember, like I said before, here's the sun, here's the Earth. Remember those interplanetary magnetic field lines I just showed you on the CME tracker, our connection, and then wherever that hole is, say it was right there, those particles follow that line. They travel. They spiral down that line like that. And the closer they are to the middle, the more dense they are. The lighter dense ones would be up here like this. But they're still traveling that same path. Okay? So, anyway, guys, I am going to go ahead and end the video here. I do hope you guys had a great holiday weekend. Hope you guys have a great week. I'll try to come back at you here in the next day or two. And, yeah, thanks for being here, guys. God bless. Yeshua saves, and you can drink this Kool-Aid.